Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here for week 7 of Hemp 101, hosted by Winona LaDuke and team. And this week we are doing hemp foods. And so you've all been such great students participating in both the Moodle and reading the assignments. And here we are, we've arrived past the halfway mark. And week 7, our concepts this week are hemp foods, agronomy, nutritional benefits, and value-added hemp product markets and possibilities. Today, we've got some awesome folks that will be joining us. We're gonna start with some recordings of our hemp in-house in Anishinaabe chef is Terri LaDuke, and we're gonna be watching Terri creating some delicious gummies, and those will be made using some of the hemp from Winona's farm. After that, we're going to be joined by Winona, as well as followed by an amazing chef, Shadi Ramney, and we'll tell you more about Shadi when we get closer to that section. Just a few little housekeeping. In the Moodle just today, I uploaded some of Shadi's material for her cookbook, so you'll be able to find the pages there. In addition, all the recordings have been uploaded from week 1 until week 5 or week 6 last week. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna share my screen now, and we're gonna watch this video of Terri LaDuke creating some hemp gummies. And as usual, you can put your questions in the chat and we will try our best to get to them in the class. So this is part 2, here's part 1.
Water.
Hang on, there you go.
Just plain water. Half a cup of hemp oil. I didn't have time to make it cold. And you just stir that up so it mixes up really good. Let's give it a couple little spins around the kettle.
And this is the Wonder Woman plant?
I don't know. I got this from Renee. I think so.
Yep, that's the Wonder Woman. So she's
Okay.
pretty potent.
And we throw this in. This is the
I'm not seeing
unflavored
B in me.
gelatin. I buy it by big boxes in whatever store I can find it in.
And what,
I had to get in Bemidji.
so what are we making now?
That is the gelatin,
To do edibles, right?
just the gummies.
The gummies.
Yeah, I don't do edibles anymore. I got my mom in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Gave her the wrong thing. Poor old lady. Okay, and then throw in a pack of Jello.
You're making raspberry flavor.
Yes, raspberry flavored. See if I would have had my really good kettle. I'm burning my fingers holding onto this one. And then you just cook this for like 5 minutes, constantly stirring. So you don't want any lumps. Plus it just makes it nice and easy to pour. Because boys for like 5 minutes. I don't know if I can stand here that long. That's fine.
Sorry, the video's not moving. Can you restart it?
That's getting thick.
Yes, and thank you for telling me. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know that. Let me make sure that I've got it queued up here. Just a second. And I'll start it over.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Terri LaDuke, and she is teaching us how to make hemp gummies.
Water,
Hang on.
Is that better?
just plain water, half a cup of hemp oil. I didn't have time to make it cold. And you just stir that up so it mixes up really good
I don't think it started from the beginning.
around the kettle.
And this is the Wonder Woman plant?
I don't know, I got this from Renee, I think so.
Yep, that's the Wonder Woman. So she's
Okay.
pretty potent.
Then we throw this in. This is the unflavored gelatin. I buy it by big boxes in whatever store I can find it in.
And what-
I had to get in Bemidji.
So what are we making now?
That is the gelatin,
To do edibles, right?
just the gummies.
The gummies.
Yeah, I don't do edibles anymore.
Mm.
I got my mom in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Gave her the wrong thing. Poor old lady. Okay, and then throw in a pack of Jell-O.
You're making raspberry
Whisk-
flavor.
Yes, raspberry flavored. See if I would have had my really good kettle. I'm burning my fingers holding on to this one. And then you just cook this for like 5 minutes, constantly stirring. 'Cause you don't want any lumps. Plus it just makes it nice and easy to pour. Because whisk for like 5 minutes. I don't know if I can stand here that long. It's getting thick already. It thickens as you whisk it. And I'll know when it's time. It makes just a lot. So pretty.
Yes.
I made some before that. I mixed yellow, lemon and orange. Oh, yeah, you look like moo.
Look like boo. But it-
Yeah, it worked. It was just ugly. So that was 1 cup of water to start, let it boil. Half a cup of oil. Mix it in there and whisk it up so it's,
How did you get to this point though? How did you do that?
oh. That is, I have a magic butter machine. I use 5 cups of oil. And ordinarily I will use, that MCT oil, coconut oil, but I didn't have any. I just used that extra virgin olive oil. That's about as expensive as the MCT oil. And I put in a half a cup of shake, because that's what I had. Ordinarily, I like to use the flower butter plant, but I don't have any. I got a bunch of shake that Winona said Renee could give me. So. And then
Alrighty, so that is part 1 of the video that was created by Terri LaDuke. And just so you'll know that it was started, the way you saw it start, that's the way it was recorded. So it's she sort of just jumps right in there. And so we do have part 2, and I'm going to go ahead and play that.
Wait, just a second. Hi, I'm kind of sickly, so I kind of came math, but I just want you to point out that Terri is here with me. And Terri and I are going to now eat all these gummies. No, just kidding.
We're gonna try them.
We're going to sample the gummies. I just want to know, let y'all know.
Rose.
Very good. If you want to continue on, I'll probably pop back in, but just back from the big international hemp conference in Denver. Very nice. And I'm going to eat some gummies with cousin Terri here.
Awesome. I'll play part 2. Thank you.
Huh? Okay, go, part two.
So now we're gonna go part 2 of the amazing Terri LaDuke. And so I cue it up. Alrighty, and let me share my screen again. Here we go.
Go ahead now.
So in the magic butter machine, which is really useful because then you don't have to stand there and cook and cook. It does everything for you.
So do you cook the plant, like simmer the plant in the oil, or do you do
I
have
would
it
put the plant directly into 5 cups of oil.
and let it?
And you, I measure out usually half a cup of plant matter, sometimes more. If I spill, and then set it for 2 hours.
Okay. I'm baking, you said?
It's just a setting on the machine. It's like a big cooker.
Okay. Like a slow cooker?
Yeah, but it cooks faster.
Ah,
Okay, this is ready to go over there.
okay. Chaos. Hang on a second. We'll leave it there for a minute.
Nice and juicy looking.
That's raspberry flavor, you guys. With the Wonder Woman CBD plant. She's a nice plant.
It is a very nice plant. I made that paint balm out of it, the
Mhm.
last batch. It smells good. Doesn't stink. And I just bring it over here.
So she's making all the different candies of different shapes. Oh, look at cute. Little lips and hearts and stars and
It's on my forehead.
so. Over here at a king, so we're doing it over here.
See how thick that is?
Oh, it's gorgeous red.
Isn't it?
Very pretty. My favorite color red, by the way. My favorite color red.
Yeah, mine too. I just did a bunch of beadwork with this color red. This is the hard part for me because I don't know. But then the good thing is you can scrape that off, eat it right away.
There you go.
I got my original recipe from this YouTube lady in California, but I changed it. For one thing, she uses real marijuana, and I don't. It's not legal.
Yet.
And I add more of the green.
You can't break it from there. It needs
She uses marijuana.
Get over there. That listens very well.
Use that. But everything else is the same. You start off with 1 cup of water, heat it, add half a cup of hemp plant, heat it and whisk it together so it like blends really well. And then add your gelatin, which is 4 packs of gelatin to each and a package of 2 packs of Jello.
Like the longest part is like preparing the plant and the
Yep.
oil.
Yep, that takes a couple hours or longer if you don't have a butter machine. The first time I made this, I did it all wrong. I had that beef flavored gelatin. Ew, gross.
Almost look at the little glistens on it.
Huh?
Look at all the little glitters.
Yeah.
Looks delicious.
We use this stuff a lot at home. For PTSD,
Yeah.
pain. It seems like my kids are growing up and they're all getting growing pains. And they have a hard time to sleep at night. So they get a gummy, a small one, before bed. This has no THC, or you know, it's under the limit, the legal limit.
Better than Manitoba.
What?
All those other sleeping aids
Oh, yeah.
and muscle aches and such. You know, this is a natural plant. You don't get high from.
Okay, now you stick this in the freezer for 15 minutes. Then you can just put it in your fridge. After that,
Just put it in a little jar, huh?
yeah, then I put it in a jar, but I forgot my jar. I brought a baggie. I don't like to put them in baggies unless I'm mailing them. I mail these all over the country to my poor old lady friends.
They're like, oh, good gift.
Yeah, they like it. Mm. Mm.
All right, we'll get some film after they've been set.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Alrighty. All right, y'all, and that is the process that Miss Terri LaDuke uses. And Winona, is Terry still there?
There she is. You guys got some questions for Terry?
Who's that up on top?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Thanks. Elisa here. If you're not using a butter machine, which this is the first I've heard of a butter machine, who knew? How would you infuse the oil?
Oh, very slowly for about a week. in a
Just keep
crock
it
pot,
not heated or heated?
low.
Crock
Ah.
pot, she said.
Crock pot, covered crock pot on low for like 4 or 5 days. Then you just strain everything out and there's your oil.
Thank you.
I didn't know it was 4 or 5 days. I thought it was like 12 hours or 24 hours, no? Oh,
If you want some.
if you got the
And-
good
and-
stuff. Okay, just to be
And
sure, I
how
was
lo-
clarifying. She's not kidding. She's like 4
Yeah.
or 5 days.
And how long does it take in the butter machine?
2 hours,
Wow. That's
because
amazing.
it's superheated really fast and spinny, I guess.
Yeah, I went and saw someone who had a butter machine. I was trying to get some, just trying to see what they had for it, because I was trying to learn how to do these edibles. It was very cool. They looked like they could really crank stuff out. And then, but she was doing THC in hers. So then, of course, I had to ask the question, which is like, how do you tell the dosage, right? Like, this is kind of a question that you got to work on. Now, Terry's an expert. I'm just trying to understand. But anyway, so I asked the lady, how do you tell the dosage? You know what she told me? She said, high and really high. So I don't know. I think this is not
Well, I
for
measure it.
amateurs.
I love it.
Yeah, I just measure before I put it all together.
So
I
Terry,
know.
I remember the first time you made them and you had the cow and they didn't taste that great.
Oh, they were awful.
What was it with?
That beef gelatin.
Mm.
Ugh.
But now that you've perfected them, what other suggestions or tips do you suggest for people to like look up for recipes or resources or stuff like that that you used yourself? Sorry, my phone.
Oh, well, I only used that one lady. She's called Pot Mom 420. She uses weed. And she has a lot of recipes on her YouTube and her other one. I can't remember what but if you just look up Pot Mom 420, you'll find her real website.
Okay. Pot Mom 420.
Yeah, I stuck with her because she keeps it simple and and I don't like a lot of steps and I just want to get it done.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's see, does anybody else? Margaret says that her sister uses a decarboxylator.
Yeah, we decarb the hemp. That's like one of the first steps after you dry it.
Decarboxylate.
Yes.
And Heather says that she's had luck adding sunflower lecithin as an emulsifier. Have you
Yeah.
used?
I don't use that because I can't use lecithin personally
I see,
because of arthritis.
I see. Alrighty. Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Terry. That was awesome. And we will be putting these videos up in the Moodle for everybody
Okay.
to watch again.
How many of these you think I should eat, Terry?
4.
4.
They're flat. Only eat 2 of the big ones.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Someone said 100. No, just 2 is fine. Very yummy.
Awesome. So next we have Shadi, but Winona, did you want to say any?
You guys, so yes, nice to see you all. Sorry, I was a little under the weather, hiding here. I just gotta stay a little bit away from my cousin and everybody. I know that we had produced some study sheets for y'all. I don't know if people saw that. And well, first of all, I just want to thank y'all for being in the class. And then I know some people were asking if they could get tested or something, you know. So we have these study sheets that are available, and I think that Kira has put them up. So those are kind of like you know, for some of your assessment and just to see what you've learned about. We're really looking forward to seeing what you learned so far, you know, seeing what you think of the class or suggestions you might have. So we're hoping to have that, you know, it's our first time doing this. And we only just really want to do this because we see the need, you know, a lot of people are trying to understand hemp, and you know, it's hard to understand unless you kind of get a bunch of people talk about it. So happy to share that with you. As I said, I just came back from the NOCO conference where we received a big award. Surprised me, but before that, I got to see all kind of cool equipment. I spend most of my time looking at big equipment, trying to understand a D666 and decorticators and harvest equipment, and you know, met a lot of Indian people, and I feel like that it's really a good idea to it was really interesting, and what's clear to me is that we're all learning together, and the best thing would be is if we can you know, figure out what equipment works and not buy bunk equipment. That's my thinking. And there's a lot of people really interested in us. And I was up in my room writing my little report because I'm a good girl, good student. I was writing my report, and Sherilyn Spears from Red Lake called me and said, "Get down here. Get down here. They're giving you an award." So, but Mary Jane Oatman received the award on our behalf. That was like so cool. And because she, like, first of all, is like 25 or 30 years younger than me, and she's wearing this cute little dress and look awesome. I was like, that's it, man, because it's really all about all of us, right? It's not about, like, I just happen to be one of the people working on trying to figure out the hemp industry because I could see it's the new green revolution. It has such good potential. But we're honored to receive the Mother Earth Award from the Global Hemp Association, Industry Association. And so I just want to, you know, acknowledge my team. Terry, you know, is on that team. Ronnie, who you already met. Darren, you know, we got a lot of people who are growers here. Don, good, you know. And then I did get to meet 3 of the students at NOCO. Oh my God, that was the greatest. They came up to me. Where are you guys? They were so great. And we had a nice little visit, and nice to see that this hemp industry is really of interest to folks, you know. So just thanks so much for coming out there and for being part of the class. And okay, someone asked me, the 15th is fine. You know, I'm not going to bust your chops on the class, but we do want to see if you're learning something. And I think you want to see if you're learning something too, right? So Kira, the person on our staff who is most recently graduated, so she remembers how to do such things well, such as write assignments. Anyway, so she's done that, and I think it's available. So I think it's fine for the 15th, but we're hoping that you guys are writing some things and, you know, got to let us know. what you learned. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I'm super grateful also for Shadi for coming out. I don't know if you guys are taking a break or what for a little bit, but for Shadi for coming on and also sharing about the food, because you know, it's such a beautiful source of magical nutrition, as well as a lot of good healing, you know, for people. So I was glad to be able to work with Terri here and have her present. I don't know if there's any other questions or anything, but I'm super happy to be here. And like I said, I'm a little under the weather, so that's why I was like kind of not trying to hop on here.
Awesome. Thank you, Winona. I hope you feel better, and congratulations on the award. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really for the team. But
For all
thanks.
of
The
us.
team is awesome. Yeah,
That's
team
right.
is awesome.
Well, I'm gonna put the spotlight here on Miss Shadi and share the co-host here so that you can share your screen. And yeah, we all hope you feel better soon, Winona. And there you go, Shadi. Shadi is here. She is an awesome hemp chef. And Shadi also has a book that she's written, and it is part of it are on our Moodle also. And you're able to see that awesome work that she's doing. And I'll just go ahead and you can go ahead and share your screen whenever you want. Thank you, Shadi. Oh, we can't hear you.
Hey there. Am I sharing the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we can hear you too. That sounds great.
Okay, did I do it?
No, I don't see you yet. On the bottom where the share screen, and then you just select tab or window. I can pull it up if you want to start, and then give me a second.
Okay, that'd be great. I'm just going to talk, excuse me. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. I love Winona, and glad to be a part of this, and hope to add value to what you're learning, and definitely available for anybody afterwards. If I can be a resource to you at any time, please feel free to reach out. So my background, a first-generation Persian woman, and I learned how to cook food by watching my mother and my grandmother and my aunties make food that was always slow, and it was always intuitive. So that's kind of my background, just like my root chakra, in terms of just like how special food is, and the act of preparing food like for hours and hours and hours. Persian people make food for hours, and then it's expected that you would sit there for maybe an hour and enjoy it. And then you might not even have a seat at a table because you're younger and you kind of have to earn a seat. So there's this like very old and sacred, beautiful food tradition. And so that's kind of how I was raised. And that's a part of everything I'm doing, including my work with cannabis. I have studied in graduate school, I studied cultural anthropology. I did my field work in Nepal. And at that time, there was like a pretty new concept called sustainable development that had recently, like in 1992, been written in something called the Brundtland Report that had come out of the Rio de Janeiro Climate Summit. And I was really interested in third world community development in different places around the world. And so I went to Nepal and I studied ecotourism, and I was assessing whether or not ecotourism was a sustainable form of economic development. So that also, that background is a pretty big part of what I'm doing with cannabis. What I've always been doing with cannabis. Oops, where are we at? Okay, are you guys there?
Yep, everybody's there. I'm putting your slides up on the screen now.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Mhm.
And so, yes, so I am, since my graduate work, I've basically become a self-taught chef, learning and immersing in different in various types of cuisine from different parts of the world that I visit and get really immersed in that. And then I've come back to the Boulder, Colorado area for the last decade. And then I've like taught lots of classes and had farm dinners and created immersive experiences around the cultural experience of food. I believe in food as a bridge. And so, yeah, I started my first product line. The first time I did something was like in the farmer's market in Boulder, 2007. That was pretty ghetto and I made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot of lessons. And I came back in 2010 and I started a company called Organilicious. And we were making plant-based dips and spreads, kind of like, again, inspired from different places that I love, their food culture, like pestos, hummus, tapenades, things like this. And then I got that company, you know, we got into like Vitamin Cottage, Whole Foods, and then I sold that company in 2013. 2014, my partner and I at the time wanted to start a dispensary. And then we found out it was, you know, at that point, like $750,000. So it wasn't for us. And actually Bernadette, who's here right now, said, got in touch with me. I had recently met her and she told me that someone had been making a hemp coffee. And I was like, what is that even? What does that even mean? So we went to visit this hemp farm and we're like, this is terrible. We're going to make a hemp farm. And we did. In 2015, we started growing hemp on one little small acre outside of Boulder. That's where I met Winona. Winona came out to our little farm. And it was like around that time that I started living with cannabis on a daily basis. And so I could kind of like bring it into my food repertoire and just start messing with it and playing with it in its different forms. And I had never had access to cannabis like that. So that was like a pretty big shift and a pretty important time for me as far as like creating products and different things with hemp for the first time. And then, yeah, I've been creating products with hemp since 2017. I brought out my first product, which was an edible. I wanted to make a body cream that we could eat. And I made this hemp sex cream by accident, which changed my life. It might change yours too, but I'm not here to plug that. It was just like something that happened with cannabis that I never thought I would be a part of. So amazing possibilities. And then in 2020, when I was on lockdown with my kids and my big dog, I wrote my cookbook, which is called Hemp Can Change the World, because we all know it can, and that's why we're here. And Winona was kind and wonderful enough to write the foreword for my cookbook. So yeah, now I'm gonna do the PowerPoint. That's my background.
All righty, let me share my screen.
Thank you so much. So yes, so here is a little really special drink. It's actually in my book. It's like a turmeric hemp latte. There's lots of the delicious medicine in here. And I really think that, especially now with everything that's happening within our climate crisis and fighting for the water and all the poison that we're exposed to on a daily basis, it's really important that we be eating what I'm calling a high vitality diet so that we are high vibe. And you know, what does it even really mean to be vital and how can we achieve that? And I think that eating hemp and incorporating hemp into our daily diets is one of the simplest and easiest ways to do that. Next, please. So hemp we know is high vibe. That's why there is a vibration. I know when the first time that we grew hemp and we were doing like, my partner was like into molecular genetics and we were doing selective breeding, and we had some really, really big, huge male plants, like 10, 11 feet tall. And you could go lay under there and it had this like really special energy of vibration. So, you know, we are what we eat. So I think that when we can transfer that vitality from our food source to ourselves, that's like when we are going to get the most chi and get the most out of it. And so that's why I really like hemp forward food for that reason. Excellent source of protein, amazing on the essential fatty acids, excellent for our endocannabinoid system, our hair, our skin, our nails, fiber, fats. These are all the things that you can get from just having 3 tablespoons of hemp hearts incorporated into your diet, for example. Next, please. So here's just 2 tablespoons of hemp at a glance. This is what I was referring to. We're talking about protein, fat, carbs, all these excellent vitamins, essential fatty acids with a small calorie, high protein. Next, thank you. Cannabis is an ancient medicinal plant. We all know this. Cannabis has a friend of mine, my mentor, one of my mentors, Brigitte Mars, teaches a class called Out on a Limb. Cannabis is the tree of life. And it's really, really cool to just look at all these different traditions from around the world that have honored cannabis as a sacred plant. And I'm talking about, up to 12,000 years ago, for example. Next. Oops. So yes, in Egypt, ancient Egypt has a very, very old history with cannabis. Some people would say 5,000 years. The Egyptians were working on rope, and there was Egyptian Sufis were using hashish to expand. In Japan, the painting on the right is a cave carving in Japan around the Jomon period. It's believed that Shintoism, which is the indigenous religion of Japan, in Shintoism, cannabis has been revered as a sacred plant for over 12,000 years. And unfortunately today, still Japan it's very illegal. But they were using it in textiles for a very, very long time. They have an ancient hemp textile tradition in Japan, and also a very long old food culture. And in my cookbook, I did want to kind of highlight some of the different places on earth that do have a cannabis tradition. And there's a recipe in there for togarishi shichimi, which you could find like at a Japanese restaurant. And it has like orange peel, lots of different spices in there, and also has wild hemp seeds. Next, please. Yes, so I believe that humans have evolved with cannabis so much so that we have something called an endocannabinoid system. And I believe that as an anthropologist, I believe that once ancient people began eating hemp, that it had a major effect on them, on their mobility. So next slide, please. So cannabis, yes, is spiritual, expanding our mind, of course. And then as a food source. So when we're talking about ancient hunting and like woolly mammoths and all the work that it took down and all the work that we had to do to keep that meat, versus once people started figuring out that you can eat hemp hearts and that you can take them with you and that they were easy to take. And then I believe that this had a paramount change for our ancestors. Next slide. Endocannabinoid system. This is something that we're learning more and more about. In terms of the scientific picture, it's a relatively new finding, but it is really paramount. We're finding that a lot of our major systems in our bodies are affected by our endocannabinoid system, and that most people, in fact, are endocannabinoid deficient. So the remedy, obviously, for that is to be proactive and to include to feed your endocannabinoid system. That's what we want to do. We want to feed our endocannabinoid system. Hemp can change the world. That's what's up. Couple other slides. Just wanted to show, we got hemp tabbouleh. This is like a little avocado relish. This is a lima bean hummus with hemp seed oil, and also hemp hearts. Next. This is a hemp rose cardamom chocolate bark. That's dope. It's super delicious. That's not in the cookbook. Next slide. This is like a really special hemp mushroom infusion. It's not in the cookbook, but I'm really into, as an herbalist, a lay herbalist, decocting and infusing and using Western herbalism and also Ayurvedic medicine with cannabis. So this is like a really special heart drink. And yeah, I know from with Terri that there's so many things that we could do for body care with hemp, and we always want to be thinking about what we're putting on our bodies. I think people don't think about that enough, but our skin is our largest organ. So definitely want to be feeding that some high vitality hemp as well. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, hemp tea. Hemp tea is so good and so easy. And so we want to be using all the different parts of the hemp plant. We want to be using the hemp hearts when we have males and we have hemp seeds. We want to be using the leaf. This is just like some hemp leaf. I like hemp leaf with rose, and also I like putting a cinnamon stick in there. It's super yummy. Also using the root. You can use the root for salves and also body care extractions. And then hemp seed oil, of course. Okay. Oh, there it is. Hemp seed oil, hemp hearts, and then hemp seeds on the right. Hemp hearts, of course, on the left are just what's when you crack open a hemp seed, that's what's in the inside when you take the hull off. And also these hemp leaves. And in the cookbook, and even today I don't have any, but I'll be talking about using fresh leaves even on a daily basis, if you could be lucky enough to have access to that. And depending on where you live. So for example, in Colorado, cannabis THC, hemp is less free than cannabis THC because anybody can grow up to 6 cannabis THC plants as their person, up to 12 people in your house. But if you want to grow hemp, 0.3 THC or less, you have to get a license. So just want to keep that in mind. Okay, so now I just wanted to just show and tell some of the things that we can do with hemp, I think on a daily basis. So again, we want to be feeding our endocannabinoid system. So I'm just gonna run through a couple things. Kombucha. I love kombucha. It's actually my guilty pleasure, and I would spend $4 on it a day if that didn't mean $120. So I like to make my own kombucha, and there's a recipe in my cookbook. It's really easy to make your own kombucha and to be eating fermented foods. We just now know the soil-gut connection, that over 80% of our immunity is happening in our gut. So we want to be feeding our gut healthy. We want a healthy microbiome, and you can use cannabis to ferment, and that would be an excellent thing. And you can also save money. This is also something that I make. It's not in the cookbook, but ferments. I'm super into fermenting food. Fermenting is excellent for your gut bacteria and building your healthy bacteria. So this is like a spicy hemp sauerkraut that I like to make. So it's like the red cabbage, and I like to put the hemp leaves that we were just showing. I have also done it with hemp hearts, but they kind of get funky. I like to use the leaf, chop it up real small, garlic, carrots, cilantro, jalapeno, and then you make a brine with really good salt and really good water, because you want to be using good water and everything. If you're talking about making medicine and feeding your endocannabinoid system, we really want to be using good water. We want to be eating food that hasn't been living in plastic. We want to try to be as local as possible. I mean, these are things that people are talking about, but to like really put them into practice is really important. So I'm a big advocate for that. So here's like a hemp sauerkraut. You can just do something like this, like take a squash, cut it in half, spaghetti squash, and you can roast it. And you can just make this is in my cookbook, and I'm going to post a couple recipes. I'll just put them in this chain. Well, actually, I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. I'll get everybody some recipes, but you can make pesto. And so when we're talking about food sovereignty, really, I mean, it's like, especially after COVID, it's never been more of an important time to have sovereignty over our food system. Instead of, people are just like starving, waiting for the government and the powers that be to come to wherever we are and bring our food. Certainly if we're an Indian country, I think that it's imperative to have food sovereignty. And I think that growing hemp seeds, growing hemp hearts, doing cottage industries, doing startups, utilizing the other plants and ingredients that are natural to your area is really, really, really key. And that's something I'm a big proponent of. And I'm here to connect with people about that. So you cut this in half and you drizzle it with olive oil, and then you would roast it at like 375 for like 45 minutes. And then it's all it comes out. It's like spaghetti. It's so good. And you can make a pesto with like kale. I'm super into kale. You could mix the kale with the basil or just go kale, garlic, walnuts, and some hemp hearts, olive oil. Super simple, easy, plant-based, hemp-based, really, really high protein, high vibe food. Okay, here's something else I made. I didn't get to show you the full Monty, but this is Mama's hemp rose cardamom bundt cake. That's what's up. So I'm gonna make like a really yummy hemp frosting with some hemp milk that I made. And every time I talk about hemp, I just want to implore everyone to try to make hemp milk because you don't have to try it. It's so easy. You just need a blender. And I'm actually a ninja girl. So this is my ninja, and I already made this before, and I already strained it. And I will add a hemp milk recipe. There's a little chapter in my book on hemp milk. But today I just made like a basic OG water and hemp hearts. That's it. And you can even get them in North Dakota at the Vitamin Cottage, I learned. So you can get them at places you don't think. Vitamin Cottage is awesome. You get small bags for like $3.49 or $3.99. And you just put water and hemp hearts in the blender, good water, the best water you can get. And then you just like pulse it high for a couple minutes. And then you want to strain it. This is a $1 paint strainer bag. If that's where you're at in life, that's where I'm at. Or you could spend $4 or $5 on this bougie hemp cheesecloth, which I don't really recommend. It's more troublesome than anything else. This right here, you can just kind of put it in. It's easy. So what I did was I made the water and the hemp. It made a creamy little milk. And then I put it in here. And then I squeezed it out. My hands were clean. And then it makes this like meat, this like meaty, nutty leftover. And you can do lots of things with that. You could upcycle that. So you could upcycle it by putting it in your cake batter. You could put a little bit in your batter. You could throw some like in your pancakes for your kids in the morning. That would be really good. Also, you could make hemp crackers with your dehydrator. So you could make it like a really simple recipe off the internet with like flax seeds and like kind of some funky stuff. You wouldn't maybe try some like soy, like tamari. And then you make like a little paste and you put them on here. And then I don't know if you guys know, but then you can make these little crackers on here. And it's super easy. It's just like happening in the background of your life. No big deal. Okay. Then the last thing I wanted to show you, which I think is really important. So I come from a long line of just like poor hippie people who want to eat good things. And so herbalists and just some hippie folks I know just call this squeeze juice. So what we do is we take, this is it. And what it is just like half a bunch of lacinato kale. Dinosaur kale is my favorite. And then also just good organic, everything is organic. Celery. And then 1 Granny Smith apple cut in quarters. This one's oxidizing, obviously. And then also 1 lemon. And then a quart of water. 1 quart of really good water. And then again, you put this in the blender. Ninja is fine. And you keep pulsing it for a few minutes. It's going to make like a green water. And then you just use the same $1 strainer. And then you make squeeze juice and you just get a cup of green juice. And if you add your cannabis, when you start growing cannabis and it's farm season, or if you have your own indoor grow, then you can just pull off some of those leaves and put that in your juice. And if you could do that as much as possible, you will have really increase your vitality. And I stand behind that. So that's my little infomercial for different hemp foods that you can make that are really simple. I did also want to follow up on the magical butter machine. So my homie just lent me this. So here it is. And I'm going to make some mushroom medicine with my magical butter machine because you can make all kinds of stuff with it. So here's that. And yes, I just want to, the last thing I want to say is that if you have an idea and you want to go for something in hemp, do it. Just go for it. Don't let other people knock you down. Don't be looking for everybody else for approval. There's still room. And if you have a really good idea, come up and do it right. I'm really into B Corp, mission-driven business, doing the right thing when no one's looking, ethical supply chain management. So if any of you want to be doing that work, I'm hiring for some of the projects that I'm doing. We also need some interns. So we're here as a resource to help people just expand and thrive and by regenerating hemp-based economies in their local community. Okay, Thank you so much. Any
Awesome.
questions?
Yeah, let's see if there's any questions. Let's see here. Heather, thank you. Shadi, Karen, thank you. Can the hemp pasta be frozen?
I've never made hemp pasta. Ask Winona.
Okay. Let's see. Winona.
Sorry, she read that wrong. Sorry, that's not the stuff that's left when you squeeze the hemp milk out, that cannot be
Yes,
frozen.
yes. Yeah, okay, that's very good question. Very smart. So, my mama would have like a bag of something like this in the freezer, like a big old Ziploc, and then she would like grab something and put it in. So that's a really good smart, because then you could just like get away. Or you know what you could do is what I would do. I'd make little balls and then I'd put them in the freezer bag, because that way you don't have to fight like a big brick and cut yourself. And you know what I mean? You just like take a couple balls, take some balls and put it in there. And then you're ready to go. And whatever, you could like add it to a smoothie in the morning. That would be really good. That's very smart. I love that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Alrighty, let's see. And the book Hemp Can Change the World. Where can people get that?
You can't get it. It's sold out right now. And it was printed on hemp paper, and I wanted to bring it out on hemp. And right now I'm thinking of working with a publisher to get it out to more people. So you have to get on my mailing list. What is it?
Virtual option. Virtual, like providing it virtually.
We had that.
Like a paper
Yeah,
purchase.
we had PDF, but we really want to give it to people in print. So we're working on what we're doing next to get it to more people, because hemp paper. I wanted to do it that way, even though a lot of people in the industry told me that I couldn't, which made me want to do it even more, and made me kind of cranky. And then I had to do it. So, but hemp paper still is very hard. It's very hard to get. It's very, very expensive. And the reason I wanted to do it is because we really need to show leadership in the new cannabis economy as part of the new green revolution by making these kinds of decisions as business owners.
Awesome. Do you have a website or a YouTube channel?
I have a website. I have a few websites. I'm going to put them in here so you guys can find me. Yeah, if you're in the Denver area, I'm doing a 420 cannabis paired 5-course mushroom dinner. Yeah, and I'll be doing some of these in different places. So please connect with me. I love cannabis so much, and I'm a big mushroom nerd. So if you're into mushrooms, then let's connect.
Awesome. So for everybody to know any of the resources that Shadi mentioned, if you can, Shadi, I'd be more than happy to upload them onto the Moodle also as links.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Lucille.
Thank you. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions out there?
I have a question, if I may.
Mhm.
Hi, Elisa. Thank you, Shadi. That was great. I'm enthusiastic about food similarly, but you take it to a level that I couldn't even conceive. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bringing and mushrooms too. Yeah, they're one of my favorites. My question's a bit off topic. You had mentioned that you were in Nepal looking at ecotourism and its sustainability. Could you share some of your findings or experience with that, if you don't mind? I'm sorry, everyone. I know it's a little off topic.
No, I think it's great. It's a great question. It's going to date me because I started lying last year that I was 10 years younger than I am, but I'll just go and tell the truth. So in 2000 is when I went, in September of 2000. So right before September 11th, the year before. And honestly, it was absolutely unsustainable. Ecotourism in Nepal is unsustainable. And I believe that it's gotten even worse. So like, for example, when we're looking at sustainability, and this is something I speak about when I'm, at conferences. And I think that I'm upset about the way people, certainly in this industry and many others, but very much in this industry, misuse and abuse the term sustainable. Most people don't actually even know what it means. So in order for something to be sustainable, it needs to be hitting three major areas of equity: economic, ecological, and social equity, in order for something to be sustainable. So when I was in Nepal, I was like, oh, I need to talk to the Sherpas and see how if the Sherpas are getting paid. And I did everything you're not supposed to do as an anthropologist. Like I was like buying people beers and like sitting down with them and trying to have real conversation. And I would have been fired by my committee if they found out that, what I was doing and how I was doing it. But, it wasn't even like, are Sherpas getting paid an equitable wage? It was like, holy shit, Sherpas are dying on the mountain because they don't even have the appropriate clothing and gear. So some asshole is like sporting all this Patagonia North Face stuff. And then the Sherpas were with wearing windbreakers and Keds on Mount Everest. And these are real stories. And also the way that people challenge the mountain and have no right or even ability or capability to climb Everest. And they put a lot of people in danger. And the people that are left, the people who know the mountain, the indigenous people there, the Sherpas, are put in this very precarious position of saving Westerners. And so that is unsustainable when the people who are to support the mountain are dying on the mountain. And then also, of course, environmentally speaking, back then there was like maybe 1 million water bottles on Everest, like something insane, something really despicable and unacceptable. And so the environmental impact is really there. And so something, again, it can't be sustainable. And then as far as economic equity, Nepal, like many places around the world, has a very corrupt government. That the king of Nepal was actually murdered that very next year, of the whole family. But when you would go to like this special place in Nepal, see lots of poverty, and the poverty in Nepal was second only to Mexico City. And so there wasn't an equitable wage. There wasn't any equity in terms of like trickle down or people getting a share of the ecotourism, because really it was staying in these upper echelons and within a corrupt government structure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shadi. Somebody else did have a question on a dehydrator. Do you use a dehydrator?
I do. And so that was my show and tell. This is my ghetto ass dehydrator, which I paid for $60. And I've had it for like 6 or 7 years. And I'm really a big fan of it. And it was just called Nesco. And that was like years and years ago. So they have some really, really, really nice ones. I think there's one called like Solar Ray. One of my raw friends has one of those, and those are really, really nice. They're bougie. They have like very nice trays. But if you're under the gun and you want to, like for me, if I were you, I would get this, and I would get a canning bathing tub, canning bathing tub. And just those two things will be like $110, and you can can food and you can dehydrate food. And that is a great way to have your own food sovereignty and be sovereign over the food you're eating, because we're coming upon the season, and you can be growing or going. If you don't grow, you can go get food from farmers, and you can put up your food, put up your own food, put it up.
Awesome.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome.
And the Ninja. I think the Ninja, I think the Vitamix is like overrated and like kind of bullshit, but a Ninja is like $175 and it's been excellent. And you can make hummus with it and all kinds of like a tapenade and pestos and stuff like that, and hemp milk all day long.
Super awesome.
I have another question, if I may,
Yes,
on
please.
the Ninja topic.
Yes.
Ninja that much better than a standard, but a good quality blender?
It's so much better than a blender. Also because of the size, like in an oyster, it's like really narrow and you're like fighting and trying to get the shit out from underneath the bottom of the thing. It's not like that here. It's like super wide. Also, like I'm a big nut person. I like to make nut milks, and the juicer I want is like $1,000, and I have to sell a lot of sex cream to make that happen. So I'm not just going for that. So I use the Ninja all the time, and it's really, really effective. And it is superior to just like a regular blender.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
I know you said you had a couple of websites. Can you tell us
Yes.
one?
Yeah, I'm gonna put them here real quick.
Just love your honesty and your humor. So much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's not for everyone, so I appreciate you appreciating it. Thank you. Oh, and I wanted to say one thing before we go. For me, I feel like, you know, it would be, I mean, I'm sure this has come up before. I'm sure Winona's brought it up, and I just want to make sure I bring it up, that it's really imperative when we're talking about like hemp as medicine and hemp as food. Because like right now, and don't let friends like buy hemp from the gas station. That's your call to action. So when we're talking about medicine and high vibe food, we need to really think about where it's coming from. And so for me, I always ask, like, who's the farmer? What are their growing methods? What are the products that they use in their, what are the ingredients that they use in their, who's growing your hemp? Where are they growing your hemp? How are they growing your hemp? And what are the ingredients in the value added products? Those are real questions. And you need to be able to read the labels of all these hemp products, much like you would anything else. And you need to empower yourselves to be able to read a product and understand what you're eating so that you can feed your vitality, and you're either feeding your wellness and your health or your disease with everything that you ingest. So we can all probably step it up.
Right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shadi. And again, let me see, just double check in here. Can you just tell me the website and I'll type it into
Yes,
the
I'm
chat?
sorry. Yes. So shadiramey.com.
RAM.
SHADIRAMEY.com. Okay. And then there's feedyourvibe.com. And then there's hempcanchangetheworld.com.
And all right, awesome. And I will also, like I said, put those links up into the Moodle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Shadi.
Blessings. Bye. Peace.
Enjoy Boulder to the mountains
Yay.
for me.
I will. It's raining. I'm happy. Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
I miss it. I'll be there soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's see here. So would it be helpful if I show y'all the Moodle again? Yes, kind of, sort of. Some are saying yes.
that.
Okay. Let me share my screen. And I have to open a new tab here. Hold on just a second. Sorry. Excellent. Okay. I know there was some folks that were having a little trouble getting in, and I did find that I was able to help some people. So maybe this will help again if I just go over briefly. Okay. So little. And then your login will look a little different. And here is the course overview. Here's the actual link to enter the course. As you enter, here's the assignment weeks 1 through 6. And like Winona said, you know, this is so that both y'all as students and the instructors could see how the class is going and how you feel you're absorbing the class materials. So remember, please, if you have any questions, reach out to Kira at AnishinabeAgriculture.com. And also, when you're ready to turn in your assignment, please do turn it in through the Moodle. Please don't email it to Kira or Winona or Lucille, but do turn it in through the Moodle. And if you need help accessing the Moodle, I am more than happy to help with that. And then again, we do now have all of the recordings up to date. So week 1, all the way up until last week, hemp building and construction. And after today, I will upload today's presentation as soon as possible. And so please do let me know if you have any questions on how to access the Moodle. And not sure if anybody else has any questions out there. You can go ahead and unmute if you want.
I have a question.
Sure.
This is Jennifer. I'm wondering how we turn in our assignments on the Moodle.
Oh, sure. So there was a button at the very bottom of that page that I showed you where the assignment is. It's only on the very top of that screen.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And also Shadi did put her email into the chat.
Hi, Lucille. Leanne. So I'm able to access Moodle. However, when I look at the screen, let me just go over so I can explain to you what I'm seeing. Give me 1 second. I'm not tech savvy.
If you want, Leanne, maybe we can take this, I can help you offline, but what I'm finding with a lot of folks is that they you didn't either finish setting up your course or there's another step that I need to do on my end.
Oh, okay.
If you don't see all of that, what I showed you, the course, can you send me an email?
I sent you an email that I was having trouble. So
okay, Leanne, I'll double check as soon as we get off here.
I was able to access it before, so I don't understand.
Okay, I'll double check.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. And also, it looks like there's folks that are now working on the having discussions. And so encourage everybody to use the discussion board and to communicate also with each other so that we can continue developing all of this hemp knowledge that we're all learning together. Well, that's all the presenters we have for today. And if anybody has any questions, with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and end class today a little early.